I am somebody.
I'm somebody.
I am somebody.
I'm somebody.
I may be young.
I may be young.
But I am
somebody. I may be poor, but I am somebody.
No, sir, you cannot be admitted.
Why?
I am not going to serve you.
Because of my race?
I'm not going to serve you.
There's a picture you see of us pointing, saying the police were coming to us with their guns out. And we said, the bullet came from that way. I mean, no one come to us. Go where the shot came from.
Our time has come. A new day has begun. Red, yellow, black, and white. We're all precious in God's sight. I was born in the slum, but the slum was not born in me. And it wasn't born in you. Hold your head high. Stick your chest out. You can make it.
The reality is these people need food and medicine. They need airlifts. You cannot get past these roads in the mud.
Let me express my sincere thanks and delight to NABJ for enduring and building and keeping the light of our hope alive down through these years. For a chance to share with you on this occasion at this critical hour in the history of our nation. It's a state of emergency, really. It's not just racist, it's pathological and dangerous. It is not over. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God. No word, no world. You are the keepers of the Word. It's been a long journey for me since 1960. We sat down with 7 classmates and we were jailed, trying to use a public library, facing the barbarism of legal segregation. We're called ignorant and locked up trying to use a public library. My father sat behind Nazi POWs on American military bases at that time. The day Dr. King gave the speech in Washington, the context of the dream was from Texas to Florida to Maryland, we couldn't use a single public toilet. We couldn't buy ice cream with Howard Johnson. We couldn't rent a hotel room at Holiday Inn. We could not vote. We were not citizens. Against those odds, we chose not to surrender, not to adjust, not merely to resent, but to resist and fight back. I find joy in being with you tonight. My very first job was selling Baltimore African-American newspapers and Pittsburgh Journal and Guide, reading A.S. Doc Young every week and Sam Lacey, Carl Roland. Got to Chicago only to sell Jets and Ebony. We could not get them in the counters of the stores in the ghetto at that time. I want to thank the journalists who told our stories in the darkness.
and black obituaries and weddings never quite made it to the paper. Frederick Douglass and Ethel Payne, Les Payne, Asa Moore, Max Robertson, Bill Raspberry, Dorothy Gilliam, Dwayne Wickham, Vernon Jarrett. These men and women have been light and darkness down through these years. So many in between, Frederick Douglass and Don Lemon the other night giving that kind of interview with LeBron James. The media's always had a kind of threatening power to our society. More threatening than political power. As iniquitous as that is, I think about George Curry. Economic power has been that of appraisal power. The right to determine the worth of somebody else, their value. So when Jackie Robinson gets through playing, he is quote unquote too angry to be a manager. The appraiser's perception. Ernie Banks too soft to be a hitting coach, 600 home runs later. Really give your favorite person tonight a $50,000 diamond ring. You were overjoyed that you had given this great gift, and the person in receiving it was of such. In the midst of it all, someone would say you should get that ring and shoe it because you may lose it, someone may steal it. You take the ring downtown and someone says, this ring is worth, I see a flaw, is worth $25,000. No matter how much you protest, it will be ensured at the appraised value. Or someone may say, this ring is worth $100,000. Where did you get it from? Power now of the appraiser. 5 seasons, and next year will be 400 years since we've been here. These athletes have had some awesome rulers. I listened to Trump attack LeBron James and Don Lemon today. Whether David in the Bible or Samson fighting Goliath. When nobody would hear us pray, it was Jack Johnson. When he fought, there were race riots, Jack Johnson. Jesse Owens ran the race, 1936, the Olympic race in Berlin. The white paper said that it was a terrible thing that Hitler did not speak to him. He got up and walked away. I asked Jesse Owens one time, Roland, why? But then you get upset. He said, I came home and Roosevelt wouldn't shake my hand either. That's left for the Afro-American to discuss, not the daily paper. It's hard to imagine what it meant when Julius defeated Max Mellon, being called every conceivable ugly name by the major dailies. Or Jackie Robinson. The reason all athletes make this multiple millions of dollars today. Not because they're any better than Oscar Robertson, or better than Bill Russell, or Campanella, but Kurt Flood sacrificed his career and life in Missouri using the 13th Amendment, or Wilma Rudolph, the Williams sisters, or Tiger Woods, Althea Gibson. Strange ways the destiny of our people have been caught up to these achievers. How these minorities with majority visions took us to higher heights. Most of you tonight cannot go 4 generations back into your family. Certainly 5. The first book of Matthew. From David to Jesus is 1,000 years. 42 generations. We can hardly get to 5. Who are we? Look at our skin complexions. We are colored by rape, not by biology. Still searching in the wilderness. Minority with majority visions. Stories bigger than your papers your editors could not approve, could not appreciate the value of. Moses was a minority with a majority vision. Joseph was a minority with a majority vision. Mandela, a minority with a majority vision. Dr. King, a minority with a majority vision. A vision bigger than our circumstance. Rules matter. Why are these athletes so superior in football and basketball and baseball and track? Don't use a biological argument. Why are we superior? So whenever the playing field is even and the rules are public and the goals are clear, the referee is fair and the score is transparent, we can make it. If on the football field we had to run 12 yards because we were born out of wedlock and whites had to run 7 yards because they inherited some yards, we couldn't make it there either. If we got on the base to run, the distance between bases was relative to who was running. But so long as the playing field is even, rules public, goals to the referees. But our public rules are clear. Only the appraiser has the power to determine the worth. We need you to be lights in dark places. The principle's bigger than your job. If you have a job, you're in trouble. You need a mission. That's put less pain to the top, or Ace or Moore, or Bill Raspberry. They had missions. Who gonna tell the story about the flag? If one bows to the flag, it's exalting the flag. It said, I expect you to honor your promise. If one bows to the cross, it's saying, honor your promise. If one steps on the flag, spits on the flag, which is constitutionally a right, it's decadent. To be punished for exaltation, rewarded for desecration, is to eclipse the sun at high noon. So we could not let the season go by without saying, why is it that Colin Kaepernick, one of the top 10 best quarterbacks in the game, can't get a tryout? Is that somebody else's job at the paper? Because I'm in fashion, I'm in some. Who will tell the principal story of they didn't shake my hand in Washington or Berlin? Who will tell the story that the players make all this money in every sport around the world because of acre flood? It's a mission, not just a job. I was in South Korea last week. They brought the bones of soldiers home. And they went through all of the procedures and started talking about Kim Jong-un and Trump and the like. And I could not help but think about there were some black bones in those boxes. Somebody had the right. Medvedev was in Korea. fighting, risking his life to die for a career. Came home and got killed in Mississippi trying to get the right to vote. Somebody on a mission was put, Medgar was in that context. It says in trivial talk, we came on different boats, we're in the same boat now. No, we came on very different boats. We're not immigrants. They came looking for a better way of life, Roberts. Refugees came in desperation. We came enslaved, bought and sold. Every time I see those children at the border, my heart goes out for the babies in cages. We were there in the cages first. As a matter of law and policy and commerce, our babies were put in cages and then sold. 246 years of slavery. Jim Crow was more violent than slavery. When we were enslaved, we were seen as an asset. We're free, we're seen as a threat. And to block our vote, there were 8 black congressmen in South Carolina alone. They lynched 5,000 blacks in 90 years without one conviction. ISIS. Most lynchings took place after church on Sunday in the name of God. Emmett Till was the caboose on that train. We do not have a federal law against lynching tonight. We never passed a federal anti-lynching bill. In ABJ, we never passed the federal anti-lynching bill. So when Bert Tappan was in his sleep, and Bobby Rush they thought was in his sleep, was killed in his sleep, inspired by the police officers, that was a lynching. That's a federal crime. Police shoot unarmed people, those are lynchings. That's not how the editors see that, lest somebody's delight in dark places. But through it all, we are amazing. Our weapons have been the moral rightness of our cause. Rosa Parks had no money, no gun. She was mostly right. Coalitions, always some Ralph McGill, some John Brown, coalitions, a marching feet. We were never able to make lynching a federal crime. Don't be discouraged. We're in the belly of the whale. 1/2 of all human beings are Asian, 1/2 of them are China. They can elect presidents, we can be one. The power of France, it can make and break presidents, we can be one. The European Union, we have more power than they, we can make and break presidents, we can be one. Four million blacks in the South today are unregistered. 2.5 million registered last time who did not vote. The pain of that suffering has been internalized and turned into energy. I want to thank God, man, ABJ, for the role you play in the lane you run. You're not just workers at the paper, you are on a mission. I gained my value as watching black journalists, some Ida B. Wells. There's this disgraceful scene, babies at the borders. And I watched the morning shows and even black guests on shows travel how to make their hard blood. I've never seen a single one say a damn thing about us on the border in the cages too. As a matter of law, we are a post-genocide Native Americans. Post-slavery, post-genocidal society. To be on TV as a piece of color and cover and not to be there with courage and conviction is a distraction. We're on a mission. When you lose the mission, you have a funeral that's so small that you can't make it to a church. I was in Cleveland, Columbus, about a month ago. They had the editorial board meeting. There were 7 journalists in the meeting, not one black journalist in Columbus, Ohio. There was one black outside of the window at the desk writing, peeping, looking at me. So I said to the editor, the publisher came, he said, why don't you have one black journalist? He said, we can't find any. The home of Ohio State, a football factory, we can't find any. Columbus, Ohio, up north, y'all. Went to Cleveland. Met the Cleveland Plain Dealer. 8 journalists, not one black writer in the meeting in Cleveland. One thing worse than being in slavery is to adjust to it. Deep water does not drown you. You drown when you stop kicking. If the door is closed, that's not bad. It was bad if there are no footprints that you try to kick it down. It's just there. You mean it's closed and no footprints, no fingerprints? You can drown in shallow water. There's this graceful image tonight, and we'll see it again tomorrow. They count 400 babies. And it is a moral disgrace of our time. And yet, we got to go to the Savannah River. Got to go to New Orleans. Got to go to Charleston. Look at babies in boxes sold on the auction block, not sold. If there had been an argument, look at our skin complexions. Speak of deadbeat dads. We need you tonight. There's a countdown between now and November the 6th. We can stop this long, dark night. I know it's dark. We can stop this. If we're all on a mission, if we're all free, we can stop this. We have the numbers to stop this. We won the race in Virginia this year. Got a black lieutenant governor. We can fight this. Everybody not surrendering. We won the race in New Jersey. We got a black lieutenant governor. We can fight this. Ben Jealous won against the odds in Maryland. He could become governor. We can fight this. It's like a salmon swimming upstream. States that won the race in Georgia. We can win Georgia. We can fight this. Espy running for Senate in Mississippi. We can fight. If we do not bow and do not surrender, we can win this. But not just storytellers who write for some editor's foolishness. Every woman here is somebody to be Wells. You're writing to free slaves. You're writing to free ex-slaves. Lastly, a few days ago I was diagnosed with Parkinson's, a kind of degenerative disease that for which they say there is no cure. That's supposed to be a sign of slow down and because it's intimidating. I get in a group with life and death in jail cells a long time ago. For all of my life, I know we have power. It excites me. Economic power, leverage to bring in the corporation down, we have power. I was blessed to be in jail, power. In my lifetime, blessed to work under Roy Wilkins, with Jim Farmer, for Dr. King. I've been blessed. Don't let them tell you because you're going to die one day, don't work. That's going to happen anyhow. Use the rest of your days to fight the right fight. Somebody say, live in such a way that when you die, the funeral director will cry. Because you mattered. The article you wrote, the story you told, the interpretation you gave to the story. There's nothing much more dangerous than a chocolate white person, you know, who just kind of chocolate-colored white minds are dangerous because they're deceptive. I'm going to say it one more time. There's nothing more dangerous than a chocolate white person whose mind has bought into the system, whose vision is limited by what the master sees. We're called to be transformers. We must be maladjusted. We are that one that, here he come again, here she come again with that stuff. We ought to be I would rather be, as I talk to some football players who going to get on their knees and kneel this year. I would rather be a cab driver working on percentage free than to be $1 million slave. You mean you got $1 million and man, if you buy, I'm gonna fire you. You say, no, sir, master. And then all your muscles start shriveling up. It's better to be a free cab driver working on percentages than to be $1 million slave. Dignity is non-negotiable. Roland lost his job, but not his sense, not his mind, not his mission, not his motivation, not his dignity. Dignity must be non-negotiable. When the doc said, well, Jesse, you got Parkinson's. I said, well, Parkinson's in trouble. Whether I'm in Haiti or Chicago, or South Korea, or South Chicago, or South, we're going to fight this fight. Because my God is a healer. Be careful how you treat at-risk babies. You got Parkinson's, you're at risk. I was born at risk. Born to a teenage mother, at risk. Never saw my dad's shave, at risk. Never had my dad's name, at risk. Just Jack is my third name, I'm adopted. At risk. Had no health insurance, wasn't born in the hospital, born at home. My white doctor stopped by the house. At risk, born at risk. Jesus wasn't at risk, bought a baby. Born under death warrant. Had to go to Egypt as an immigrant. Again, Solomon became a refugee, at risk. Turn your risk into power. And don't surrender. In my travels across these years, the reason I'm so excited tonight about this season, we're going to win in November, you know. we're going to win because we're going to fight. We're going, every high school senior is eligible to register and vote. Every high school in your district must be registered to vote. We didn't have that weapon 50 years ago. Don't you know that when we win and lose, they say, well, Gore beat Bush, Bush beat Gore. That's fake news. You got up to 534 votes. It would not count, DeVal counted 27,000 votes. Did any of you protest that in your articles? They didn't count the DeVal County vote. That's why Bush was the winner. That's fake news. You mean Kennedy beat Nixon by 113,000 votes? And Nixon beat Humphrey by 500,000? And Hillary win by 3 million and Trump is the winner? Hell, that's fake news. If don't nobody in your paper believe that, but it's fake news in the house. You can't win by 3 million in a democracy and be the loser. God has blessed me across the years to be with you tonight. My grandson, Jesse III, is here with me tonight, taking care of Pops. I'll leave you with this tonight. If my people will call by my name, humble themselves and pray and seek my face, and turn from their wicked ways, they'll hear from heaven and God will heal their land. It's healing time. Don't put a job over your mission. Don't put your dignity up for sale. In these 57 years since I first went to jail, in 77 years of living, I've seen quite a few things in my lifetime. To come from Greenville to be advising presidents is quite a journey. I was in South Africa the day that Nelson Mandela walked out of jail and shook his hand in Cape Town. I've seen a lot. I worked with Dr. King, talked to him in his last breath. I've seen a lot. With Ron Dillams, I met with Castro when it was not fashionable. I've seen a lot. Been to Japan, I've seen a lot. I've seen the Great Wall of China. I've seen us go from the balcony in Memphis where Dr. King lay bleeding. 40 years later, the balcony of the White House, head of state. The balcony in Memphis, the balcony in the White House. 40 years in the wilderness. I've seen a lot in my time. What I haven't seen, the reason I'm not going to give up, I have not seen the righteous forsaken. Let the seed beg for bread. God bless you and thank you.
Jesse, Reverend Jesse Jackson. If I could just ask you one question. You began your civil rights journey as a college student. And our membership of NABJ is overwhelmingly millennial. 75% of our members are millennial or Gen X and Gen X. And our members, we would like to know, what approaches should today's college students and millennials use as they seek to speak truth to power?
We've been here 400 years as of next year. You didn't start the movement to free our people. You joined the freedom train at best, or sit and watch it pass down the street. Black lives have mattered for a long time, y'all. I saw some students at Howard University in 1932 made lynching illegal. Black Lives Matter to them. Medgar Evers came from Korea, Black Lives Matter to him. We should not be distinguished by a hashtag. That struggle, join, read about Ethel Payne, read about Les Payne, read about Asa Moore, read about Raspberry, read about Carl Rowan, read about Vernon Jarrett. What made Dr. King significant was, at 26, he was following the path of Dr. King, Dr. Mays, Dr. Mays and Dr. Howard Thurman and Mordecai Johnson. He joined the struggle. In 1946, when Mandela and Tambo became young, they didn't start something, they joined the ANC. They joined the struggle. They didn't start, they joined the struggle. Every generation can build upon the last generation's work. Don't be dismissive of the previous generation. We need each other. Say everybody. Needs everybody. Everybody is somebody. Shoulders matter. Shoulders matter. Lineage matters. Yesterday's lessons are today's landmarks. Remove not the ancient landmarks. Our mothers and fathers have said, build upon yesterday and make a greater tomorrow. You couldn't have, if Oscar Robertson had done what he did, LeBron couldn't do this. If Curtis Floyd did not sacrifice his career, he could make money playing. We could play, but Nick been dribbling basketballs for a long time and shooting the Globetrotters, you know. I'll let y'all go on this one. 1947, they got so hot on this basketball thing that they reduced us to clowns, to laugh at us. And the Minneapolis Lakers won the great championship. They were the champions. And they had George Mikan. The clown Globetrotters beat the white Minneapolis Lakers in Chicago. They beat them twice. That made it possible to have an NBA with black players. When Bill Russell joined the Celtics, two blacks play per team. I mean, all of this stuff is built up on yesterday. So I guess I would want to say one thing that this generation: join the struggle. Look for a shoulder upon which to stand. You don't have to stand on the ground. Somebody, if you are a giant standing in a hole, you look like a midget. A midget on the hill look like a giant. You on somebody's shit. So even giants. See, even midgets look like giants standing on somebody else's shoulder.
Sir, we have a token of appreciation in acknowledging all of your hard work for half a century plus. And this print here, you can bring it over, please. This print here was taken by our official NABJ photographer, Jason Michelow Johnson, down here. And it is from 1992, and it's a photo of Reverend Jackson and Rosa Parks, taken in Washington, D.C. at her birthday celebration.
Wait. Hold on. So Jason took the photo?
Yes. Let me get you.
All right, Jason, give us the camera and you get in the photo. It's your photo.